Times are tough for the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who finds himself in the middle of multiple crises and seems to have even fallen out of favour with Conservative voters. A recent survey carried out by Yougov reveals that 50% of Conservative voters that backed Johnson in 2019 think he is doing a bad job leading the United Kingdom, as opposed to 46% who still believe that Johnson's faring well as the Prime Minister. Now, what's more is that 45% of these Conservative voters agree with the ongoing narrative that Boris Johnson stepped down as the Conservative leader. This figure stood at 18% in August last year, highlighting that the last few months of Boris' administration, ridden with controversies, has left its mark. Now, caught between the boozy headlines, Johnson's cabinet is trying its best to shift the public attention to the party's record in government, but even that brings bad news. As per Yougov, not only do almost two-thirds of the public disapprove of the government's record, but even 40% of Conservative voters do not approve of it. Now, as the Tories try their best to retain Britain's trust, the research firm says that voters are increasingly coming around to thinking that Labour are best placed to handle key issues. As Boris Johnson's ratings take a plunge, opposition leader Keir Starmer is getting increasing popularity. 15% of the 2019 Conservatives believe that Keir Starmer is doing well as the leader of opposition. Yougov's latest political tracker figures show that Labour and Keir Starmer have now cut the Conservatives' lead on who would best manage the economy down to just 6 points. 30% of voters chose the Tories, while 24% backed Labour. Meanwhile, a recent report by the British daily The Telegraph reveals that Boris Johnson's most senior aide spent the day at a cricket match 3 days before the fall of Kabul on the 12th of August last year, when the Taliban was on the path to take over Afghanistan. Dan Rosenfeld, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, accepted hospitality tickets to a weekday match at Lord's. As reported by The Telegraph on the 12th of August, officials were finalizing plans to send hundreds of paratroopers back to Afghanistan to carry out a major evacuation from Kabul airport, while the Chief of Staff watched England play against India. There was not just one match attended when thousands of lives were at stake. 9 days later, on the 21st of August, Rosenfeld attended another match at Lord's amid the chaotic evacuation efforts from Kabul. Note that it was the time when Kabul airport was shut down. US citizens were urged not to head there amid reports of people dying in stampede-like conditions or succumbing to sweltering temperatures.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.